Yeah, so what's on this week's show, Ben?
Sleep deprivation, Glenn.
That's because we've been up since 4 o'clock this morning to interview this week's guest, Rod Blackhurst, the director of Dolly.
And this week's theme is obsession.
We're also going to discuss the top 5 Australian comedies.
Now, the board says and more, but that's actually it. There is no more.
And banter. And chicken.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You've just tuned in to Good Movie Monday, your home of nerdy cinematic ramblings.
The mellowest podcast on the planet.
My name is Ben Helwig, and I'm joined, as ever, by my co-host, Mr. Glenn Cochran.
This is the effect of the sleep deprivation, right?
That's right.
Jesus, we're in for a long show, everybody.
It's going to be a smooth episode.
If you say so.
I do. I'm going to talk like this the whole time.
Oh my God. Phone in now. Help Glenn. 1-300 help Glenn.
Glenn's providing all the energy, and I'm just providing the smooth good times.
So dulcet sounds, love songs, dedications, hand jobs under the table.
It's the only thing that's going to keep me awake during this episode.
I've got some hot sauce to lube you up.
Is it chicken time now? No, damn it.
Not yet, not yet. Keep going, keep going.
If what we've done so far has turned you on, why don't you head over to goodmoviemonday.com where you can find all of our past episodes. You can also find links to all of our social media platforms. You can find merch. You can find a little sponsor us tab where you can kick in a few shekels to help this show, Ben and Glenn's love songs and dedications, keep soldiering on.
If you want more energy, keep feeding those coins.
That's it.
We're also on Spotify. We've come across from Podbean to Spotify, which means you can watch and listen there, but also you can rate the show. Give us a rating out of 5. Give us a 5. Although, based on this week's show so far, 3.
3? No, I don't know. I mentioned that we're live streaming on OnlyFans, and if you kick in, I'm currently wearing an Omi bod.
That's
if
right.
you know what that is, well done you. So the more coins you kick in, the livelier I become.
Yeah, that particular portion of the show is sponsored by Food Inc. Co. Hot Sauce. For that extra oomph.
Yeah, little pep in your step.
How about those Oscars last week, Ben? So they dropped last Monday when the show, went out. And what a disgrace. That in memoriam forgot a whole lot of people. I wanted to sort of run through their names because, we care.
They always do that. It's very political.
Yeah, but big ones, right? So it's James Van Der Beek, Julian McMahon, Bud Cort, Robert Carradine, Bridget Bardot, Ted Kotcheff, James Ransom, just some of the people that have been ignored.
I was going to say, some of those people I've never heard of, and some of them are TV stars and don't really count.
No, they've all made films, thank you very much.
Yeah,
they have all made
Plague
films.
And Jane Silent Bob Strike Back count for James Van Der Beek?
Well, Varsity Blues does, and Texas Rangers does, and,
both Oscar-nominated films.
Regardless, it's a pretty disgraceful thing. And when they were asked why, the Academy said, well, we've only got so much time. It's like, well, the award show goes for 3.5 fucking hours.
Yeah, look, I'd buy that if it wasn't for the speeches they gave to Rob Reiner.
They stopped the memoriam to spend time talking at length about 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of time for these people. Like, it's the only part of the actual show people care about, really.
Yeah. Yeah, really, it legitimately is. The rest of the show, like it's the opening monologue and the in memorandum section.
Yep.
And then the rest you just read as they live tweeted on Variety's website.
Basically, yeah. I'll be up front. If I didn't have to cover it for work, I just would not give a fuck.
Well, look, I used to enjoy watching it.
Absolutely, every single year without fail.
But Channel 9 have a history of ruining it when they were... Well, I don't know if they still do.
The announcer winners ahead of time?
Yeah, they would just congratulate them. Like, they'd be showing it not live, but they would announce the winners live. So any...
I don't know how many years you and I have been doing this for, but every single year we talk about the Oscars. That is your
gripe.
Yeah.
I've only got one problem, Glenn, and boy, you're going to hear about it. I got 99 problems, and Channel 9's Oscar coverage is all of them.
Next year it's going to be on YouTube exclusively, so that'll be interesting. Will they change the flow? Will they change the dynamic, or will it just be the same thing telecast on YouTube?
I hope it's just 5-minute videos.
Yeah,
like a series of 5-minute videos of each one, and you're like, this is fucking great. And then you can actually see which one gets the most views as to what other categories people give a shit about, and the rest should be, because they used to, I think they still do. There's a ton of categories that are and awards that are given out the day before to a lot of the technical ones, or the people that aren't famous enough.
The technical ones for sure, yeah.
Yet Adam Sandler's still allowed to turn up in a hoodie, but the guy who's best prosthetic makeup effects, he turns up the day before. He doesn't get a televised. It's like the ground pass when you go to the tennis.
Yeah.
There's all the players that aren't good enough to get on the main arena and get, there's all these cameras there, and they have all these digital tennis channels. You still can't go, I just want to watch that play. No, we're still only going to show you what we want to show you.
Yeah, well, anyway, next year will be interesting.
I predict more of the same, Glenn.
Yeah, I do too. Far out.
And a little bit more of a prediction. I'm going to bitch about Channel 9's Oscar coverage, even though Channel 9 won't be doing the Oscar coverage next year.
Or this year. This year, in fact, it was Channel 7.
Maybe, I'm sure Channel 7 are guilty of the same thing. But I wonder if the YouTube is just in the US.
No, it's worldwide. It's worldwide, yep. And it's funny, though, because I did watch the entire fucking thing this year, and there was not one spoiler. They didn't do it. They didn't do it at all. But I get where you're coming from, because that used to absolutely bug the shit. I'd avoid everybody all day long.
Yeah. I mean, they've ruined it for me. I won't watch it anyway.
Oh, just the political posturing's ruined it for me. Like, it's just nothing but a self-indulgent wank bank in that place. It's just,
That's Hollywood. That's what Hollywood's always been.
Yeah, well, it's worse, I think, now. But some really exciting Hollywood news that only I care about. And God damn it, this is our show. I have the platform. I'm going to be excited for it. Sniper 11 has been announced, my friend. Now we're talking great films.
Ready or Not was at the cinemas, and unfortunately we missed it. Did you see how I just moved that along?
Can you believe there's 11 Sniper movies and only one dud in the lot? That's my hot take for the week, everyone. All right, stop.
This is all part of the compilation episode that we're going to put together of nothing but Glenn talks about sniper films.
Now, I wish this was on the mic before we started recording. I said to Ben, now when I say, and stop, he's supposed to say, chicken time.
Collaborate and listen.
You missed your cue, my friend. You missed your cue. Do you want chicken or not?
I do want chicken. I just wasn't expecting it mid-sentence.
You pivoted away from Sniper. I'm going to take it away from you.
What sauce have you got for us this week?
Well, yes. So this portion of the show, of course, is sponsored by Ink Food Co. inkfoodco.com.au. This particular flavour is Thai curry, which has a foundation flavour of coconut, heavy notes of lemongrass with it. So it's the mildest of their sauces, but still got a bit of a kick.
Lovely.
So let's have a taste of that. This is the part where we promote them. Go to their Facebook page. To be honest with you, that's the best place you can be right now, because that is up and running. In front of me, you can see the bottles. They're prototypes. The actual bottles, when they release them, will be proper ones, larger, and a couple of extra flavours added to the list.
Tastes like Thai curry.
There's almost like a satay note to it.
There is a bit, yeah.
I really like this one. I think this is probably my second favourite of the lot. I'm telling you, it's a really delicious sauce. And look, I've also got to say, they did, when they sent us this stuff, they were courteous enough to send us some gin and tonic, which I am drinking right now. I've mixed some grenadine with mine, but because this hot sauce is based up in Airlie Beach, up near the Whitsunday Islands, this is a local company that they wanted to promote as well. So Islands Distillery, their gin and tonic is delicious too, but they're not supporting the show per se, but I figured let's do these guys a favour by doing them a bit of a plug as well. Ink Food Co. Get on it. Delicious.
All right, Glenn. Let's talk about obsession.
Obsession. All right, let's do it. Trying to wade off this sleep deprivation thing, because it's a struggle. It's a real struggle.
You know, the funny thing, the only thing that gets me keyed up is I can't even think of the word now. Is grudges. And you're trying to rob me of my grudge against Channel 9 by saying that Channel 7 doesn't do it. So that's my grudge. That's my grudge that's keeping me going while we're talking about
when we're very tired and sleep deprived, we both get grumpy. But I think we get grumpy over different things. I just get snappy at like my wife and people in the house.
People who'll take it.
Yeah, that's right. Or they'll just say fuck off.
Well, I gave it to a guy on the way here. I gave it to a guy doing 80 in the 100 zone.
But you know what? I was in the car with you the other week, and you gave it good, just regardless.
Oh, look! Anyone who fucks up when I'm on the road and delays me in any way hears about it.
If you think the hot sauce makes his face red, wait till you see him driving a car down fucking Toorak Road.
Yeah.
Great times.
Peak hour.
Great times. Don't do that sleep deprived, all right?
Oh, that's my favourite thing. I'll crank the Drive soundtrack and it's Dodgem car time. Yeah. My car's 20 years old and I'm not afraid to destroy it.
All right. Obsession.
Obsession.
Yeah.
What an interesting theme.
Yeah. I mean, this comes off the back of last week's Revenge. It's kind of a similar... If you're going in like the thriller films, it's a very similar kind of...
It is a very similar
take.
Theme.
But,
I like this because most erotic thrillers
are
based on obsession.
My instinct completely was to go with those type of obsessions, the fatal attraction, you're obsessed over somebody, and it becomes deadly. But then I thought I probably like movies more where the obsession is over something like a treasure or like you're obsessed, like Wall Street, you're obsessing over money. Like I like that kind of obsession in...
A goal.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, now that you think about it, the one that kind of sprang to mind when you said that is October Sky.
Yep.
It's a great film, I think, incredibly underseen.
That and Astronaut Farmer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jake Gyllenhaal building a rocket.
Brilliant.
In his coal mining town.
It is a great film.
Yeah.
So the first one that came to my mind just instinctively was The Lost City of Z. The one with Charlie Hunnam.
Like that film,
I love it, but it is like his obsession with finding the Lost City of Gold or the Lost City of Z, which is the same kind of thing. And he spends like his entire life, like 30, 40 years, searching for it, not finding it type of, and it's just this obsession that takes over and ruins everything else in his life.
It's like me and Tats Lotto.
Yeah, that is an obsession. We all have that.
The one that I listed a couple, but the one that kind of really, I sprang to mind was Body Double.
Yeah, of course.
What a fucking banger of a film.
It's a great film.
I'm sure everyone's seen it, and if you haven't, do yourself a
I reckon
favour.
we've mentioned it so many times on the show, and I've yet to go back and revisit it. It's been about 20 years, I think, since I've seen it. I'm definitely due a rewatch.
And it is, look, I will say 100%. I've said it before on the show. I'll say it again. The best Brian De Palma films are the films within the films that he's making.
Yeah.
The porno that he makes in Body Double. Mm-hmm. The horror movie that he makes in Blowout
yep.
is phenomenal.
I think Blowout is my favourite De Palma film.
Look, I got to tell you, like when I read because I'd seen Blow Up.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. A photographer's caught something that he doesn't realise in one of his shots.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're a photographer and you're doing stuff out in the street, you're taking 30 to 100, and then you're looking at a neg sheet that's small, unless you blow it up, easy to miss. Then he doesn't know with sound, and you're like, what? I thought it was ridiculous. And then I watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this movie is fucking awesome.
It's so good. It's so good.
It is so awesome.
So something that came to my mind looking this up, in the horror genre, I went with Reanimator. That's that is Herbert West, the mad scientist. Most mad scientists are obsessive.
Yeah.
Same with Frankenstein and The Fly. They came to mind as well, just complete obsessions. And Dead Ringers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he obsesses over...
Human Centipede.
The vagine.
Yeah. Human Centipede is totally obsession. He is obsessed about making the Human Centipede.
Yep. There you go. So the mad scientist, that's a great sort of tangent from the obsessions. And obviously the psycho ones, you got like your Fatal Attraction. 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams.
So that Single White Female was one I was
thinking of. I mean, they are all the same, but they're all great. Fear, The Fan, Misery, Greta. Like, Greta's one of the more recent ones.
Yeah. One of my favourites is A Woman Scorned.
I haven't seen that.
You've never seen this?
No.
This movie, get a load of the plot of this.
All
right?
right.
So there's this guy, he's a businessman in some kind of, I think it's an advertising company. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really care. And He's desperate to get ahead. He wants to the next rung up the ladder. So much so that he's willing to prostitute his wife.
These things happen.
And get her to sleep with his boss.
Right.
To get the promotion. Of course, that doesn't happen. He doesn't get the promotion, and he's let his boss bang his wife. So he goes and kills himself.
Oh.
Then his wife, who is furious and blames Andrew Stevens, who is the guy who got the promotion instead, thinking that he must have bribed the boss with something even more amazing than her vagine.
Word of the week.
Word of the week.
Next week's theme.
So she insinuates herself in his household as the new maid.
Right.
Bangs his son. Bangs his wife. Bangs him. And turns them all against each other.
So it's revenge.
It is a revenge, and she is obsessed.
Obsessed with revenge.
It is with revenge. It is a phenomenal film.
The first part of that story, the synopsis there sounded a lot like the alternative cut of like Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. Very similar. But except the fuck yous at the end are at the end of the Christmas thing are legit. They're literal. I'm trying to think. I can't remember for the life of me. Gene Simmons' wife is the main woman.
Oh, yeah.
Canadian,
Yeah.
She's in Hot Dog, the movie. Like, she's the big... She was after, like, Tanya Roberts and Sharon Stone and stuff. She's the biggest name in erotic thrillers. Yeah. And her name has just escaped me.
Mine too. It'll be on the screen.
She was a Playboy playmate. Her sister was also in Playboy.
It's not like I have a computer in front of me.
You can just... Mine does not get the... It gets the internet, but it won't let me search.
Shannon Tweed, of course.
Shannon Tweed.
Yeah. I wanted to say that, and I'm like, if I get it wrong, I look like an idiot.
I'll say that Shannon Tweed is so big in the world of erotic thrillers.
Yeah.
Like, Shannon Tweed was who you got when Tanya Roberts refused to do any more nudity. But Shannon Tweed got so big that as she got older, they had body doubles come in and do her nudity.
Yeah.
And you're like, hang on a second. The only reason you ever hire Shannon Tweed is because she'll take her clothes off. So why...
Only to a point, my friend.
Yeah, it's amazing. Her name looked good on a box cover.
I thought about some comedies that revolve around obsession, and Detroit Rock City comes to mind. Those 4 or 5 guys obsessed with getting to the Kiss concert, I think it was.
And they run into those chicks who are obsessed with disco.
Yeah, and then to like a similar extent, fanboys trying to get to the Skywalker Ranch.
Yep.
And to a further extent, that script I haven't written yet, which is the Caddyshack 2 Part 2. Same thing. Obsessed with that movie like I am.
Like you are. Oh, the Cable Guy?
That's my next one on the list. Yeah, High Fidelity. Obsessed with music and vinyl in particular.
Yeah.
Sideways.
That's
a great one.
I used to drink the Merlot, but then I watched that movie Sideways and they said the Merlot was bad, so now I don't drink the Merlot.
Fuck the Merlot! And a movie that doesn't get talked about very often, I think, is very underrated. And if you go back and give it a second chance, you might like it more than you did the first time. The Big Year with Steve Martin, Luke Wilson, and Jack Black. All about the bird watching.
I've never seen that film.
God, I think it's right up your alley, but it just didn't get any traction when it came out. Just because it's about 3 blokes that are obsessed with bird watching. That is the extent of it. They love their bird watching.
I mean, I like bird watching too, but more the British.
Hello, birds. It's a Rick Mail moment for you.
Yeah.
And I've got then the dramatic obsessions, Whiplash and Social Network. He's obsessed with creating his platform. Zodiac becomes obsessed with hunting a killer, which a lot of those sort of FBI kind of manhunt ones are. Nightcrawler, There Will Be Blood. Now tell me that's not about obsession. He just becomes deranged and delirious with obsession.
He does indeed.
Yeah, so they're the ones I came up with.
No. I was going to say all the Paul Thomas Anderson's ones are, but they're not really.
No.
Most of the time it's just a bunch of losers living loser lives. And that's fascinating. Is
that all you got?
That's it. Yeah, like a King of Comedy was one that I had written down.
Yeah, of course.
That was it.
All right, well, let's see what the Boneheads have to say. Or you could say that if you want. You're hosting.
Let's see what the Boneheads have to say. I hope you put all of that in.
I will.
Welcome to Bonehead Weekly Fun Size. James, what's today's topic?
Obsession by Calvin Klein.
Obsession movies. And what's the best obsession film ever made, James?
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I Shall Have Him. Pretty much the best movie ever. Just a documentary, really.
So sexy.
Mm,
What?
so sexy. James, you go first. What's your favorite obsession movie? Since we
I don't
can't
know if it's my
talk about the
favorite, but
best one.
it's a solid obsession movie in that the more you watch it, the more you realize the level of obsession this character has to have, and that's Gattaca.
Huh.
The scene where he's having to make sure none of his DNA is left behind, right?
Yeah.
No hair, no loose hair, no nothing can be left. That's a level of obsession that a lot of films that center on obsessions don't focus on. And the obsession is not the point of Gattaca, but there's a lot of obsession in that movie. The obsession that each character has that drives them makes Gattaca the movie that it is.
Mine is, and I was going back and forth on this, but I think I want to go with it just because of how much we love Stephen King and how this was actually the first novel I'd ever picked up, read, and finished. It's Misery. Her obsession is never ending. She has no life. She's a psychopath, and this is what it is. And and she's by God given the greatest gift of all time, just dropped in her lap, and she's not giving him back, and he is going to do exactly what she wants.
It was on my list. It's almost what I went with because the way it's played in that film is so good.
I know, because there's it's just Kathy Bates and James Caan just are fantastic in that movie. All right, Not Lovable. I'm saying that if you're listening to this because Chad's name on this is Not Lovable. Also,
I'm going to break ranks just one time. I could talk about Bad Day on the Block starring Charlie Sheen.
You could,
I don't
because no one's ever seen it.
I know. And I don't want to take the time to talk about that one. I do want to, if we're talking about obsession, I got to talk in by far one of the creepiest roles done by an actor who's never done this type of movie. Robin Williams' 1 Hour Photo.
Oh, it's good. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I could have kept the ball rolling, but when we saw talk about obsession, there's 1 Hour Photo is perfection.
Yep, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, he does. If you're not familiar with it, he plays a guy who develops photos when that used to be a thing at a department store, and and this family comes in and develops photos for him, and he becomes obsessed with that family.
Yeah.
And it just gets creepier from there. 1 Hour Photo, one of Robin Williams' underappreciated performances, in my opinion.
Yeah, that and World's Greatest Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any honorable mentions really quick before we roll?
The Prestige, and Her.
Oh, that one's not bad. I think we should probably throw out Fatal Attraction just because that's how so many people know that movie still. But yeah. Chad?
I already said my honorable mention, Bad Day on the Block, starring Charlie Sheen. It also goes by the title, Under Pressure.
This has been Bonehead Weekly Fun Size.
Thank you so much, Joe, Chad, and James, the guys from the Bonehead Weekly podcast. If you like what they're the funk that they're dishing out, that didn't work out well for me. Why don't you subscribe and give their podcast a listen? They talk about the same kind of things we do, but no false modesty. They do it a hell of a lot better. No, hang on, that's not false modesty. It's the other one. No false
self-deprecation.
Self-deprecation.
That's right.
No, look, the reality is we are much better. And I know, and I feel safe in saying that because I know they do not listen to the show.
Chad does, mate. It's fisticuffs, mate. Fisticuffs. And I'd like to also mention thank you to Eclipse Cinemas for, supporting the show. We do have giveaways for them, as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. If you go to our website, goodmoviemonday.com, go to the contact tab, send us an email, Be the first one to do so, and you'll get a double pass to see any movie of your choice at Eclipse Cinemas. They are a boutique cinema in Collingwood, Melbourne, so you do have to live locally or be visiting. And yeah, you get your run of the mill. You get to pick whichever one they've got playing at any given time. They also have memberships. They do vouchers. They hire the venue out if you want to go and have a movie night of your own.
Now, let's say, Glenn, that I'm someone who likes to collect freebies from podcasts with zero intention of ever actually cashing them in. Can I participate in this competition?
Well,
Not
I mean,
competition in this challenge.
If you're the first one in, you get them. If you don't use them, that's on you.
Excellent.
We're giving them away every week.
There you go, folks. So if you're one of those people, send us an email. Be the first. Be the first to send it an email.
Their website is eclipse-cinema.com.au. Go visit them. Have a look at what they're all about. It's very cool. Very cool indeed. Yeah. What now?
Why don't we talk to Rob Blackhurst?
Rod,
or as Glenn calls him, Rob Blackhurst.
Hey, once again, don't want to sort of drum the point home, but it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I did say, "Hey, Rob." Whoops. Wasn't picked up on it though.
No, he was very polite and didn't say anything. Rod is the director of Dolly, which is currently still in a few cinemas around the country. Mm-hmm. The new slasher film that Monster Pictures released in cahoots with Event Cinemas, IFC, or the Independent Film Company, and Shudder, who will be releasing the film next month on
it's a fantastic movie. I think we established in this chat that he called it Texas Chainsaw Massacre adjacent.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you do enjoy that kind of genre,
it is. Yeah. The slogan has been the best backwoods slasher since the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Which I think is apt. It is super violent, super brutal, and yet, look, I will say, very little sexual violence, which is odd for a slasher. It's just out and out violence.
Well, because we haven't got a male antagonist.
We've got a Dolly.
That's right.
We've got a Dolly antagonist who just wants a baby. Just wants a baby.
All right, let's chat.
Wow. So beautiful. Oh, no.
Someone's art project, maybe?
All the way out here?
That's weird.
Don't miss the film critics are calling.
Nightmare fuel.
Hello?
A truly terrifying killer.
Hey, are you okay?
A wonderfully violent backwoods slasher. The scariest movie yet in the Great Chainsaw Massacre tradition.
You're a new doll. You're gonna have to play along, play along, play along, play along, play along.
This March. Mother.
What did you do to me?
Knows.
We gotta go.
Best. Dolly.
G'day, Rob. It's great to be chatting with you. Welcome to Good Movie Monday.
Thank you for having me. Is it Monday?
When people are listening to this, it will be.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Unless they're listening on a Tuesday.
Fair.
I have no doubt that this movie of yours is gonna lead to a lot of nightmares for people. That's got to be a good feeling.
Well, thank you for the kind words. That would be nice.
What are the origins for Baby Girl and Dolly? Was this where did the idea sprout from, and how long ago was it?
Oh my gosh. So, Dolly once was called Baby Girl. It was because, well, I don't know, it was just the title we started with. This was back in 2021. We changed the title right after we shot the film because A24 made a film with Nicole Kidman called Baby Girl, and we of course we thought, well, we can't compete with those SEO, search results that are gonna like, overwhelm the internet. But I do think ultimately, the name became stronger and created a better identity for the film. We also, I think, realized while we were shooting it that, and this is an interesting like thing. This is not answering your question, but I'm thinking about it right now. That like entitling it Dolly, we we very clearly identified that this is a movie, that this character is important and that there's a lot of backstory and mythology here. And we're using other characters, including, ostensibly the protagonist of the film, Macy, Fabian Teresa's character, to help start to learn about who Dolly is. I mean, concurrently, we're going to understand who Macy is. And, obviously we have these two characters going forward. But in some ways, it does make it very clear that this is also a story about this character, Dolly, that now the titular character of the franchise, or of the movie. Sorry, singular movie right now. But I think
You've answered my question.
spoilers.
Little Freudian
Oh
slip
shit!
there.
Sorry. Yep, that was. Sorry about that. But the idea in 2021 was just being frustrated with like finding like hitting a ceiling time and time again, trying to get something made and made within the Hollywood ecosystem, and having made a couple of films and a TV series that had done really well, and just going back to the drawing board and going, well, what's something that we can create on our own, that we can create small and manageably and limited amount of money, because that's when you're making an independent film, that's how you have to think, but with an eye on knowing where we want to take it and how we want to grow it. And so it was like, part, emotional response to some of the crap I was experiencing as a father, as a partner, just a filmmaker trying to make my way in the world. And then going, well, how do I use those guardrails and those frustrations to actually create something that I can own, and a sandbox that we can play in. And so here we are, now 5 years later, and Dolly exists. It's not just an idea that started as a text message that I sent my writing partner, Brandon.
That's incredible.
Was the text message, how do we kill a bunch of people in the woods?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like here's the thing. So the start of the text message exchange is on, I put it on my Instagram last fall because I'm a firm believer in the idea that like ideas and creativity can come from anywhere. And especially as an outsider, who's largely felt like an outsider his whole life, relative to any room I've walked into, I truly have this sense that all of my collaborators are operating from that same position. So I took a screenshot of the beginning of the text exchange. I was flying somewhere I was sitting on the plane as we were about to take off, and I just texted Brandon being like, what if we do this, right? And some of that was like, well, how do we use our constraints? How do we weaponize our constraints? We shoot during the day with a limited number of characters and a limited number of locations, and we tip our hat or pay tribute to the things in the movies that have shaped us and our influences. And that was really it. It was again, it was driven by pragmatism in a lot of ways. But I think sometimes that, again, having written many ideas that cost $20 to $100 million, when no one's letting me make those movies, I've got those lined up. Like I could sell you like a whole bunch of them right here. Like, open up, which do you want to buy? But I don't. But those aren't getting made. So again, it was like a recalibration, and that was part of it. Though Ben was like, yeah, well, how crazy can we get inside of our constraints?
It really began as the text message massacre.
I mean, listen, we're like including in the like, all the things that we're planning, the Dolly plans, and I know that like we're talking in the Southern Hemisphere right now, but relative to some of the conversations that we're having in North America and in Europe, we're making books and and sort of companion pieces and like oral histories and big photo books, and this text message exchange went on and on and on before we started writing. And I was like, well, this is a very cool thing, again in the spirit of like, you just don't know where an idea is going to come from. And like I'm not like I don't know much about Rick Rubin, the music producer, but Rick Rubin, the music producer, talks about the creative flow as this thing that like there's creativity always out there, and sometimes you just like it, you tap into it and you can access it,
Yeah.
and then you pull from the stream. And I really think like in a lot of ways, Dolly is proof of that, right? It was just like one day there I was sitting going, man, what do we do? And then all of a sudden the ideas started coming, and here we are. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a text massacre that became a movie. I mean, it's all possible. There are no
Yeah.
rules.
So that short film, I think, kind of almost plays like a proofing concept trailer.
That was
Did
it, right?
did you have like the whole well, much of the story in mind when you made the short, or was it sort of
Yeah, so
hoping
we
to?
had written the movie in 2021, and in December of 2021, well, sorry, we had tried to find money,
Mm.
and then we had the script and it wasn't happening. So in the past, I've made things to, bring an idea to life so that somebody doesn't have to imagine it, right? If you can illustrate it for them, it that you can allow them to take a leap, right? Beyond just something that's on the page or a business plan or whatever. And so we just literally went down to my friend's farm south of town where I live here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we just spent a day in the woods making something, you know, four of us, I think. And, again, driven by limitations and just go, well, we're going to make something up and we're going to show people again what's like pieces of the story. So like the proof of concept Baby Girl has some of the elements that you see in the larger film, right? The mask and the characters are different, but you have a couple, they encounter something, somebody tries to persevere and get the and find his partner. You reveal a house, there's another world out there that a character steps into. So again, it was just trying to take in the poor man's way, how do we take pieces from the film, from the script that we're trying to bring to life, and pack it into like 3.5 or 5 minutes, I can't remember how long it is, just to give people a taste of what the meal might taste like when we get there. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's it.
I was speaking to Ben recently.
That's a lie. We've never spoken. This is our first time we've met.
So many people have tried to, I guess, recapture the spirit of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but so many have failed. And I think you and maybe Ty West are the only two that have really done it incredibly well. Um,
That's
yeah, like, can you talk about how you did it? I think yours is more authentic too than what his was. How did you capture that from the start, like using 60 millimeter film? Like, what was the key to it?
Well, first of all, those are kind words. Like, I don't know. This is going to sound crazy, but like, I do know how we've ended up where we are, like in what the film is and the way it exists and the way it presents to people. But the truth is that when you're making something, you don't know. I have no idea. I had no idea that it was going to end up where it is now. And what I mean by that is, yes, you're making a bunch of deliberate creative choices that, and obviously there are references everywhere inside of this movie to Toby Hooper and the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, but ironically, some of those things come from the fact that like I grew up near a mine, a garnet mine in upstate New York called Hooper Mine, and Hooper like, and so when I was born in 1980, and so when you see Texas Chainsaw Massacre way too young, your little like pea brain goes to like, oh my gosh, is there a chance this is somehow related to that? Even though of course it's not.
Hmm.
Like, so there are references, and yes, there are like, but I don't think we set out to tip the hat as much as we did. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
something takes on an identity as the work happens and the collaboration happens. And I can't even the color palette. Here's a good example. The color palette of Dolly is more. We were trying to actually reference the original Snow White from 1937, and because this movie feels like a fairy tale, right? There's a descent. I mean, it's probably a little more Alice in Wonderland on the nose, a descent into madness, somebody
hmm
who ends up untethered from reality, wandering around in like a dream or
hmm
a nightmare in this case. And so that was the original color reference. I don't. It's but we've now wonderfully kind of become even more Texas Chainsaw Massacre adjacent than we had
yeah,
originally set out to be. Again, we weren't trying to be that. It just we've ended up there, and I love it because, of course, I love that movie, and it left such a major impression. Like all those, I mean, like Halloween, Child's Play, The Shining, like these were seminal films in my, horror movie language development. And so they are a part of me. But it wasn't like, oh, well, we're gonna really make sure we feel Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre decent. But I will take it because it's a wonderful film, and it does I think it showed to me that like you could, or Evil Dead, or original Evil Dead, is like you could be so punk rock and subversive and throw up double middle fingers at everybody and do this like Texas Chainsaw Massacre did. And so that was more of the inspiration here at
Yeah.
every turn. It wasn't like, man, can we really feel like we are a companion film? But I love it and I'll take it, of course,
Yeah.
because that film is so important.
It suggests to me if that's happened, maybe you guys were just in the same mindset. Like you and Toby just had the same kind of ethos
This
going into it.
this is crazy. So, like I literally, it's again what we are now. I don't know. I think when we started, this is going to sound pejorative, but I'm going to say this, and I haven't said this out loud, but I'm going to say this because it's like the thought keeps coming up, and I haven't said it, and I'm sure it will somehow work its way back to somebody, and they'll be mad about it. But like, I think when we first started out, we thought this would be more of an A24 style film, like bleak and I don't know, like a little more formulaic, right?
Mhm.
Like, uh, and and yeah, I mean, maybe just by the sheer fact alone that we were shooting 16 millimeter, it start again. But the 16 millimeter was a practical consideration. We're outside in the woods during the day. We
Mm.
need something that handles highlights well. And well, film, like we'll shoot film, like that will solve it. We don't need lights. We
Yeah.
can literally shoot film and we can push the grade later. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't like, oh, we'll be like Evil Dead or Texas Chainsaw. It just like this, so it kind of ended up there. Does that make sense? We
Yes.
literally talked about
Yeah.
digital and we were like, well, yeah, digital's come a long way. We can do a lot. However, like, well, we can get away with shitty color in film a lot better than shitty color in digital. Does that make like
Yeah.
so again that was the it wasn't like, well, let's make a something that's more Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and now here we are, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Fantastic cast as well. How did you get all of these people?
Craigslist, believe it or not. This is so stupid. This is like a reoccurring joke that you wouldn't know because we've just met, like, but I always like back in the day in Craigslist, I'm sure here it was like always people were looking to find collaborators. It was, and the pitch was meal, copy, and credit. Like no pay, but you get a meal on set, you get a copy of the finished work, and you get the IMDb credit. So this is my bit that I've been using a long time now. No, the cast came from friends, just like all my collaborators are people that I just love and like and want to work with. When you're making a film for no money, you call people that show up for you, right? In the same way you call collaborators that have your back. And because they know that sometimes you're going to have a few more resources and a few more days, but sometimes you're going to do this version of it too. And Ethan Suplee and I had become close friends, and he was in my last movie, Blood for Dust. Sean and I had become friends in 2019, and we'd been trying to find something to do. Fabian Therese was friends with Scoot McNairy, who was the lead in my last film, Blood for Dust. And so I put my own daughter in the movie. She's a little girl in the beginning, or one of our two daughters. Russ Tiller, who plays Billy the Park Ranger, is he's actually in the proof of concept. He's in Blood for Dust as well. He lives in Nashville. He actually lives right down the road from me. But Dolly was the real discovery, played by Max the Impaler. We did not know who was going to be Dolly at first, truly. We knew we needed a physical performer that could bring a character to life without words. And so at first we thought athletes, dancers, something like this, people that like could convey story and emotion without talking. And we happened across Max by chance, truly by dumb luck. We saw a flyer for a wrestling promotion here in Nashville, and Max's character, Max the Impaler as the wrestler, is so arresting. And I was like, well, I need to look, if they're playing this part and they're doing it so well, I need to know more. And that just unlocked it immediately. And then once Max revealed to me that their lifelong dream had been to be a monster in a horror movie, and that horror movies had been so important to them in their life, it was just fate, right? Like and then what Dolly is now is even better than what Dolly was on the page. Again, to go back to the way I was talking about it a minute ago, I feel like on the page, Dolly wasn't as nuanced. Like, I mean, you care about Dolly. You learn things about Dolly as the movie unfolds that were there. Those things were there on the page. They were a part of this larger world. But I think what Max did surpasses the expectation that I had, like, when we were writing it. So, but yeah, I don't know. You call your friends. You make it. We're literally just trying to get out and make things and create things. And I don't know. That's what we all love. So it's just, well, we find a way to do it. So hopefully, as you grow, you can call your slightly more well-known friends that help you get the movie made. And I think, after being in the suck of movie making for a long time, I've been lucky to meet some incredible collaborators, Sean and Ethan being those two friends that show up for you. So long-winded answer. I gotta shut up, Glenn and Ben. Sorry.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
No,
The less talking we do, the better.
Yeah. I thought it was a great misdirect because before, when I didn't know anything about the project and when the screener came across my desk and I jumped on IMDb and had a look and I was like, oh, obviously Ethan's going to be, is the Dolly character. And I was like, that's great casting. Why hasn't this guy been the villain in a slasher movie before? And then when I watched it, then when he turns up, I was like, hang on a second. If he's not, it really actually threw me for a complete loop while I was watching it.
Oh, okay. So no, all right. I love that. No, maybe he is though. No spoilers.
Maybe he is. Yeah.
That's. Oh my gosh, that's fascinating. Yes. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna steal that going forward. I'm gonna talk about it that way. But Ethan has played the thing. This is funny. Ethan has said to me that I'm one of the few. Ethan could be many things to me, right? And I think that he's obviously become an incredible character actor and character actor. And I feel like sometimes gets used to say, well, you were many things other than a leading man. And I disagree, but because I think what Ethan is Ethan is a chameleon or he's a Rorschach, right? Like he can be anything. And that is what an actor is. Yes, Ethan has been a lot of things, but Ethan, nice guys are easy, right? Like nice guys, sweet guys, affable, heavy set, larger guy. That's easy to do. This is real character work. And even the character he was in Blood for Dust is unexpected. And so every time I call Ethan a lot with ideas, I'm just like, well, let's find other ways to use you where people don't expect it. And I think any actor wants that too. I mean, I think Sean William Scott, that was very important to him too here. It was well, dude, no one's going to expect this out of me, so I want to do this. I think a lot of creatives they don't want to be one thing, and myself included. So I think going forward, with any actor, any project, I'm going, well, let me find the exact unexpected opposite character for you. People think Kit Harington is Jon Snow. Well, of course he's not Jon Snow. That's just a character he got. He played for a long time, played really well. Let's take him 180 degrees and go the other direction. That's just how I want to make things. That to me is exciting. It's dangerous. I don't know what that version of Kit Harington. I don't know what Kit Harington is like playing that character. I don't know what Ethan Suplee is like playing the bad guy. Well, let's let him play the bad guy, and then I get to see.
Yeah, then you get to do it. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
The most exciting thing for me was, let's not forget that this was a reunion for Evolution, because those two guys were in it together, and it's one of the most underrated comedies of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
I started it's funny because they weren't on set at the same time, but I did start a group text. I think at one point Ethan or Sean asked me for the other guy's number. Actors work on so many things. Sometimes they lose track of, or they got someone's contact info and then they forgot to keep in touch. But I did start a group text 3 weeks ago before the movie came out in the States, and there was a bit of a love fest on there, and it made me really happy. I felt like a loose, like Malcolm Gladwell's loose tie connector, just connecting some people up. So it felt good. Yeah. They're both wonderful fathers, wonderful men, wonderful friends, wonderful collaborators. I just want to make movies with them, but I want to make movies with my friends writ large.
Yeah, there's so much delicious depravity in this for horror fans. But I'm wondering, how far did your imagination go? Was there a lot of stuff that you had down that was just probably too much for the film to handle?
There was more that I will say there was more on the page than we could fit into here.
Mhm.
And that's just a practical, pragmatic thing, right? When you're, when we first wrote it, but there was the brutality of the film or the violence of the film is a narrative response to the things that are happening. And so it's one character doing something to another character and or vice, an antagonist doing something to your protagonist. It's relative to what their goals are as a character. And in the spirit of that, Dolly as a character that has lost their mother, and there's no spoilers here, but because this is in the trailer, you can read about this. Dolly is a character that seemingly is going through an emotional response to something and is looking to fill a hole in their heart, but is doing it in a brooded, misguided way based on their upbringing. Everything that happens to Macy, Fabian Teresi's character, then is like as a result of that. So there were more things that more special effects and practical things we were trying to do or we wanted to do that were in the script, but we just couldn't do them, no time and money. But I don't think, the big things endured. The big things remain in the film at this point. Yeah, but again, it's like not violence for violence sake, right? It is like we're trying to show people at the brink or at the extremes of their fears, right? Like even what Macy, Fabian Teresa's character, is going through is we're in a heightened like nightmare version of that, right? Somebody who very early on in the film talks about like how they had a mother that was a monster in their life, and they were wondering if the cycle might repeat itself. And now here they are trapped in a situation where they're having to navigate that as a grown woman. And so, again, everything that's happening that you're in all the twisted ways are those fears being manifested and coming true. Well, in the movie they're coming. Well, they are coming true. Well, true. That sounds like a positive thing. They're happening.
But
No one wants us to come true.
I always wondered, like, does she have the revelation halfway through the film that, hey, maybe my mum wasn't that bad in comparison to to what I'm facing?
Well, there
now?
is.
Like,
Right. I mean, there is a shift that happens inside the house relative to what she thinks is happening. Well, I don't know. Again, her position relative to the predicament she's in, and again, I'm talking about this in a coded way. Right. People change. Right. Macy's response to the opening conundrum that she's facing changes and evolves, and ultimately ends up in a very different place than she began. And well, that's just character evolution. Again, the simple version of it that we could do with, the time and money we have. Well, it is there. It is there in the fairy tale structure, right? With the breadcrumbs left behind that the breadcrumbs and the details that are said in dialogue or in questions that have come up. Everyone's asking all the questions. I read all the comments, all the reviews, all the good reviews, all the nasty reviews, and people are astute and they are noticing these things. And I'm just saying, stick with us. We got you. We know what we're doing, but we have to start somewhere. Like I'm not rich, and I got to start where I can.
I don't think it'll take long into the film before the audience knows they can trust you, mate. That's
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's kind.
Before we let you run, a lot of our listeners know that I like to round off these conversations with a bit of a hit of nostalgia. So I was just wondering, do you remember what the first movie was that you saw in cinemas?
Oh my gosh. What if it's the worst answer ever?
Well, I mean, that could be the best answer ever.
That could
Well,
be
I
the
don't
best
know.
answer,
I mean,
yeah.
so I've thought about this. Like I've thought about this a couple times. The first 3 CDs I bought. This is not a real way to answer your question, but I went to but I was thinking about it. I bought tapes, but I think CDs were like I had a couple cassette singles. Right, they were not cool. Like Hanson, and we don't have to worry about that.
I've
But
got
the
a
first
cassette single right here that's Rod Stewart and Tina Turner, so you've got nothing to be embarrassed about.
Okay, so I went to the store. The first 3 CDs I went on one day. I bought the Last of the Mohican soundtrack. I bought 10,000 Maniacs MTV Unplugged, and I brought Cypress Hill Black Sunday. And I was like, it makes no sense. Like, there's no Venn diagram where those three things overlap. But the first movie I did, and I don't know. I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older and you have kids and your brain starts to eat you up. I feel like one of the first movies I saw in the cinema. I grew up without a TV in the middle of nowhere. My
You are
dad took
Dolly. You are Dolly.
yes, this is yes. I mean, this is where Dolly. I mean, again, I grew up near an abandoned garnet mine with all these houses in the woods that I thought I saw people living in, and I saw like the remnants of a world, right? Like a familial domestic life left gone to decay, right? Like that was literally like. But I don't know if this is the first movie I saw because I should check what year it came out because maybe it's not adding up.
Mm.
But my father took me to see Memphis Belle, which was
Wow.
like a World War II like
Yeah, yeah,
bomber
yeah.
plane. I've seen my
Sean
dad
Astin?
cry twice. I've seen my
Yeah.
dad cry twice. He cried at Memphis. No, he cried 3 times. So he's cried 3 times the entire time. I think he cried when my younger sister was born, just for a brief second. He cried at Memphis Belle, and he cried when he took me to the Gettysburg Civil War battlefield on a forced father-son trip when I was like 12 or something. And I've thought about I don't know what year Memphis Belle came out. Maybe it was early 90s, but like maybe it was 90 or 89, 90. But my father's father was a bombardier during World War II, like and flew bombing runs over Germany. So I've thought about it in time. Maybe that was why. But
Yeah.
I kind of think that was the first movie. I can distinctly remember going to the small town cinema. You know, there were one screen, maybe two, like 30 seats. And I was like, why are we going to watch a World War II film? But I will say, one of the first movies I saw at my friend's house was Full Metal Jacket
Yeah.
on VHS, and it really fucked me up because I just didn't know a lot about the world. I was a little sheltered, and I was like, "This is crazy that this this thing exists." So yeah, I
How is
might
this?
again. My
How is this
dates
for
would be.
fighting and this for fun?
Yeah.
So- what are
Well,
you
I saw
talking about?
like I mean like so there was a VHS rental store in town. I grew up in a town with no stoplights. Still is no stoplights. Well, it wasn't a VHS rental store. It was a jewelry store that was also the appliance repair shop. And the jewelry store owner was also my school bus driver. His name was Pete Parker. Like it was like out of a movie. But he
Spider-Man
had
was
a
your school bus driver?
I knew you were going to do that.
but he had a hallway of VHS tapes, right? That like and they were in like clear plastic cases. We didn't have a TV, but I had friends with TVs, and you know, this was the late 80s, early 90s. You could get anybody to rent you a movie,
Yeah.
or Pete Parker, who I don't think is around anymore, so I'm not disparaging him. Like, you know, you could rent The Faces of Death. You could rent The Shining, right? You could rent like and we started Texas. This is where we started watching the movies you were not allowed to watch, and I would tell my parents we were not watching them, of course. But like then I met a family that had a Laserdisc setup, and you know you watch T2 on Laserdisc, you watch The Abyss, and your mind starts going, oh man, and so I slowly started discovering this world of movies through this like strange analog I mean, you know, this just unique way into it. Like I didn't have access to a TV at home, I didn't have access to a movie theater, but I would just consume everything I could once I realized, oh man, people make weird stuff. I like weird stuff. Oh, okay.
It,
Here
it
we go.
confirms
So
it confirms my theory that there are two kinds of people in this world. The kind of people that hang around liquor shops trying to get people to buy them booze when they're underage, and the kind of people that hang around out the front of video shops trying to get them to borrow R-rated movies when they're
and
when they're
I did
underage.
and again I don't Pete Parker and Pete and Joyce. I think Joyce was a janitor at the school. I haven't seen them in ages, but I'm if like but again every one in my small town is still there, but I don't think the Parkers are there anymore. But little did they know like how much of an impact they had on like one little you know shy goober's life, you know, because here I am
Amazing.
now.
See,
So
told you it'd turn into the best answer. That's awesome. That was a real hit of nostalgia. I love it. We'll let you go. Really,
thank
really
you.
appreciate you making time to chat with us. This is a bonkers horror film that people that love horror are not going to know it hit them when they see it.
That's very kind. I please everyone go see it. Like tell a friend, leave us a review. That stuff helps too. If people like it, um, saying something nice online is meaningful generally, you know, but like leave us a Rotten Tomatoes review, leave us a Letterbox review, tell a friend. I'd be very grateful.
All right, Glenn, let's bring it on home with our top 5 Aussie comedies. Now, I know you're going to love this because you're big into the Aussie movies.
I love Aussie movies.
You've seen all of them.
No, but I wish I had. I endeavour to see as many as possible. That's my guilt. That's not even a guilty pleasure. That's my downtime. Like right before bed, I'm like, right, now's the time to watch something I've never seen. It has to be Aussie, preferably 1950s or through to 1990s. That's sort of the window I enjoy.
Oh, you're not into like King of the Coral Sea or any movie with any movie like that? Any of those Chevelle films?
I love the Chevelle ones, and as you know, we recommended a particular person some Aussie movies, and one of them was the 1946 Overlanders. I do love all those Chips Rafferty ones and whatnot, but we're talking about comedy, so let's focus on that. And these
Chips didn't really do any comedies, did he? He wasn't really a comedy guy.
No, he didn't. Not that I can recall. And if he did, they probably weren't Aussie, because he made a couple of British films, I think. Nevertheless, probably important to note that these are our favourites, not necessarily the best, because mine certainly won't be the best.
And they're the best. They're the favourites are the ones I could think of while putting together this list. Because I'm sure you'll mention one, and I'll be like, "Fuck."
Well,
why didn't I include
I went off the ones that I know are guaranteed to make me laugh, that I have watched many, many times, and I rate them above all others just for the repeat value.
Yeah.
So we'll go both number 5.
Sure.
Mine is the 1985 Wills and Burke, one with Gary McDonald, the most un-PC movie you can imagine.
Of all time. I prefer Strzelecki.
But interestingly, Wills and Burke was made the same year as Burke and Wills, which was the serious, dramatic, biopic. But this is like, if you like things like maybe even Young Einstein to an extent, it's a very slapstick, very, let's be honest, racist film, given the context of the time it was made.
But Australians in that period of time, not 85, but when Burke and Wills were travelling across Australia, were incredibly racist.
Yeah, they were. They were. And there is a lot of...
so was everybody else.
There's a lot of fun, poking at people and whatnot, but I think the spirit of the film is almost... This very innocent spirit of the film. Not actually made with any ill intent, but funny as fuck if you can put those things aside and enjoy it. Umbrella put it out, I think, on DVD a little while ago. I wonder if they're ever going to tackle that one for 4K. I'd buy it.
You'd probably be the only one.
Racist!
That's too offensive. For my number 5, I'm going to put The Dish.
Good one. That's in my honourable mentions.
Because, look, I know a lot of people, and I don't want to foreshadow any further choices in this thing, but a lot of people would say that The Castle is their favourite working dog film. Not so for this fella. I'm a dish man.
Well,
my father was a dish man. His father was a dish man.
My old man's a dustman. I rate it over The Castle as well. I enjoy both immensely. Repeat viewing for both. But yeah, The Castle, so The Dish is just... It blew me away when I saw it for the first time, because I went in loving Working Dog, who made it, and not expecting it to be as, like... The quality of it is like an international film. It is really great, and it did resonate with the Americans when it got released.
I like an Australian movie that where that Aussie larrikin character is present, but he's not a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
which is kind of my issue with The Castle.
Yeah,
not to detract that The Castle isn't a great movie, and it is, but
it was more satirical.
It is, like everyone in it is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but that was very much a satire, whereas The Dish is telling a true story, in a humorous way. Patrick Warburton is great. Sam Neill, Kevin Harrington's great. He's the arsehole in it, but like the lovable arsehole. And everyone's favourite, Roy Billing, I should say. How good is Roy Billing? I just love him in everything. Alrighty, my number 4, Young Einstein, 1988, Yahoo Serious. It's just a winner. And I'm so gutted that it's never had a proper Aussie release other than VHS. Never had a DVD or Blu-ray,
that
let
is
alone...
down to one man, Yahoo Serious. He owns his own film.
Yep.
And for whatever reason has just not released
And
it.
if you follow him in the news over the last 12 to 24 months, he could use $1 or $2. Like, get on it, mate. Like, get on
why
it.
not? What are you doing with it?
It would, like, if they did a nice, deluxe 4K special edition, people would snap it up.
Yeah.
Get him in for a commentary. It's just, I just love it. Saw it at the cinemas. It's got one of the best soundtracks. Just great.
Mental's Anything, I think, do the
Mental's
soundtrack
Anything. You name them. There's others. Ice House is in there. Great Sutherland, all that kind of stuff. Just gag after gag. I love the fact that it's sort of a retconned story of Einstein, like making out that he was Aussie, living from Tasmania, and split the beer at him.
Yeah.
Madame Curie's in there.
It's like our version of not Beer Fest, a Strange Brew.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Australian version of Strange Brew.
Yeah, so I can't go wrong with that one.
For me, number 4, I've put one that I don't think many people, especially many people outside of Australia, will have heard of, and many people in Australia would have heard of, called Sweet Talker.
Yeah.
Which stars Brian Brown, Karen Allen came to Australia to make this film.
Great poster.
The Roly-Poly Man is in it. Whose name escapes me. But he is the Roly-Poly Man, which is another great Australian comedy film. Who else is in it? Chris... what's the guy from...
Haywood?
Chris Haywood.
Yep.
Chris Haywood is in it. Basically, Brian Brown is a con man who has been serving a few years in prison with his cellmate knows about this town that has this dune ship whose plan is to con the local people out of their money with the a development to bring tourists in to see this dune ship. And, of course, Brian Brown gets out early and just steals the idea and goes to this town where he boards in a house that's run by Karen Allen, who has a young son. And, it's one of those... guy comes to do a bad thing, but then falls in love with the lovable larrikins of the town.
Trapped in Paradise. Yeah. So Paul Chubb was the Roly-Poly Man.
Paul Chubb.
Yeah, what a name! What a name! How can he be a serious actor with the name Paul Chubb?
Paul Chubb, and especially looking like Paul Chubb. Like you look at a picture of Paul Chubb and you go, yes, sir, you are. He's passed away now too, but he's a great actor. He was in Goodbye Paradise as well, another banger Australian film.
Yep. So for number 3, I would just absolutely kick myself if I left this off a top 5 list. It has to be Crocodile Dundee. Not only do I love this film passionately, particularly the original theatrical cut, but it's an important film. Like, it really revived the Australian cinematic landscape and put us on the map.
My number 3 is 1 and 2.
1 and 2, you've combined them.
Both, yeah.
Number 2 is great, but I've watched them recently because they did the what do you call it? The Madman did the 4K releases. And I think number 2 suffers a little bit by being a bit too Hollywood, whereas that first one was really grounded in an Australian sensibility.
Well, yeah.
Nevertheless.
There's a lot less donk in number 2.
Yeah. Donk comes back for number 3, and it's weird. It's really weird.
What's not weird about
But I mean, Crocodile Dundee is the one Aussie film that you can ask most Americans of a certain age, do you know any Australian films? That's the one. And they can quote it. It's not just that they know it, they can quote it.
Yeah, I mean, well, because Paul Hogan, that whole shrimp on the Barbie thing, like that's, to this day, it's still, people know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's not a knife.
Yeah.
That's a knife. Yeah. 100%.
I see you've played knifey spoony before. Like the Simpsons made a joke out of it.
Yeah, that's right. Great stuff. Love it.
So what's your number 2?
Oh, my number 2 is Kenny. There was a long time there I thought Kenny was the greatest Australian comedy of all time, but then particular personal favourite really came in.
I think our number 1s are going to be the same.
Okay, cool. But Kenny, I think if you go back and watch Kenny again, if it's something that you never really gave much consideration to, there is so much heart in that film. It is one of the most lovable characters. He's just an honest guy trying to earn a hard-earned living, and every turn, people putting him down,
cover him in shit.
Yeah, he cops shit all the way through, literally. But also some of the greatest movie quotes of all time. Just it's such a beautiful film, and it is a lot of it was shot in my wife's hometown of Murchison up in northern Victoria. So big shout out to them.
There you go. My number 2 is Malcolm.
Oh, of course. Now Malcolm, honourable mention, 100%. It is. There's 2 cuts of this one. Do you like the booby cut? Of course you do.
I didn't know was there a booby cut.
So when it got the DVD release back in like the 2000s, it was a PG rated movie on DVD, and that's because they cut the sex scene out with the tits.
I've only ever seen the version with the tits.
Yeah, no, they cut that out for DVD, but the television version of all things
has the tits. I've only ever seen it with the tits. Yeah. I wonder what the VHS version is, because I would have seen it on VHS.
Yep.
So on that, and then most recently on
Yeah, the Blu-ray. I
Blu-ray.
think when they did that label. Is it sunscreen?
Sunburnt screens.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, and I think they restored it.
They would have taken it from the print at the NFSA.
And when you watch that movie now, looking back on it, it still plays really well. But if you live in Melbourne, it's a timestamp.
Yeah,
because
totally.
he catches this little trammobile through the city streets, and you recognise where he is, but how much has changed.
Yeah.
It's got the old school milk bar in there with the milk bar lady wearing that zip-up blue thing that they'd wear.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic hit of nostalgia.
Fantastic film.
So my number one is, of course, another Nadia Tass movie. She did Malcolm, but afterwards she did The Big Steal.
Yeah, that's my number
in
one.
In 1991, I think, or 1990. This is my favourite Australian film, bar none, and I think it's one of the great rom-coms of the era. You know, I put it in there with all the John Hughes movies. It is just brilliant. I watched it about a month ago.
And it is 100% Star Wars. It is the hero's journey.
Yeah, that's right.
It is that Joseph Campbell, hero's journey archetype.
Yep.
Personified.
Yeah. Showcases future stars because obviously Ben Mendelsohn is the lead, but you got Damon Herriman in there, and he's great as a little twerp. Steve Bisley is fantastic.
Claudia Carvan is possibly the most desirable she's ever been in a film, and that's saying something considering her filmography.
Yeah, that's right.
But who doesn't want to go out with her in that film? Her dad, the guy who plays her dad.
Oh,
who's not Bill Hunter, but
no, I knew his name for a while there because he's been in a few things. He was in that. Remember, a while ago. I talked about a show that was like the prelude to Blue Murder. It was like he was the crooked cop in that.
Yeah, right.
And
Roger Rogerson.
He plays a great crooked character. And in this, he's not so much crooked. He's just a strict businessman and a strict father.
Yeah, he's the head of his local plumbers union.
Yeah, that's right.
And but he thinks that his they're nouveau riche, so they think they're better than he definitely thinks that his daughter is better than Ben Mendelsohn and Ben Mendelsohn's family.
You know, one thing I find interesting. So in the last 3 to 4 weeks, 75 or 76% of our listeners have come from the States.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest to all of you that have never heard of The Big Steal, look it up. It's our favourite Aussie comedy.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I've had a couple of conversations with David Parker, who was a cinematographer and co-wrote these films and is Nadia Tass's partner. And he has told me that, like Malcolm, the Australian distributors had no interest in these films until it did well, until they went to America and did well. And then all of a sudden
outrageous.
it was, I suppose we should do it.
It's outrageous.
And then they, went gangbusters here.
But I mean, of all the people that need to be supporting Aussie cinema, it's them.
Yeah.
And
they're the worst.
Yeah, I know, but they should be, the ones that are championing all this. But look, it stood the test of time. It got its Blu-ray release. I suspect it will get a 4K release at some point in time. They've got to exploit that delicious sort of wide poster art that they did back in the day, which is a fantastic image. Just a brilliant film, beautifully acted, and a really good Ben Mendelsohn throwback if you only know him from Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
There we go. Nicely done, mate. Honourable mentions there. So I had to also say Manny Lewis, just the best.
Never seen
that Carl Barron film. We should make a movie night of that. We should.
I know. I think I borrowed the. Oh, you may not have the disc anymore.
If we weren't sleep deprived, we should do
it now.
Do it now. Cracker Jack is pretty good.
Yeah, I was thinking about Cracker Jack and
Bad Eggs.
Bad Eggs.
Bad Eggs is good too. The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie.
Pig's ass.
Cry Ruth.
So you're not a puff, are you?
Death in Brunswick.
Yeah, what a banger.
They're a weird mob. That's one of the early Aussie comedies. Fish out of water.
Talk about
brilliant film.
Talk about seeing video of an Australia that doesn't exist anymore, at least not in any
tackling
of the
the
major
migrant
cities.
story too.
Yeah,
in a really fun way. Like, it is brilliant. And the other one I had was a film I ranked my favourite of the year back when it was released, like 2016, I think it was. Girl Asleep.
Girl Asleep.
Yeah, which is like a sort of a Wes Anderson Aussie
take
kind
away.
of quickie.
None of the Wog Boy. Make you,
so what's the Thunderstruck?
Thunderstruck.
You and your stupid mate.
What's the boy band one?
Oh yeah, Boys Town.
Boys Town.
That's, I think, shortly after that is where Martin Malloy fell apart. They Tony Martin and Mick Malloy fell out after that.
After that, the Crack didn't enter.
The Crack is okay. What about The Man Who Sued God? Billy Connolly. That's good. I watched that probably 6 months ago, and I forgot how fun that was. Yeah, that's a bit like movies like Inherit the Wind from back in the day that take on like God, Miracle on 34th Street. It's that kind of movie. It's great.
The Coca-Cola Kid.
Love Coca-Cola Kid.
Some great ones.
Once again, that holds up well. That's the movie that Coca-Cola had no idea what they were lending their name to, and realised afterwards they should have asked for money. They got Coke for free.
The thing that's amazing about that film is that it does. I don't know if they must have at the time, because I knew the song before I'd seen the film. But
Crowded House, Split Ends,
Crowded House. It's Neil Finn, not Tim. Or is it Tim?
Tim Finn did the soundtrack, and I think a couple of songs were Split Ends.
And what's his name? Who's that? The guy who was the Channel 7 music guy.
Paul Grabowski?
No. He's an Asian guy.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I got his face there.
Yeah. He's one of the musos in it as well. He's playing the piano, and there's a guy doing the didgeridoo. But the Don't Want to Go Where There's No Coca-Cola song is the best Coke ad song of all time.
Yeah, even the poster has the Coca-Cola symbol on it.
Yeah.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they gave that name for free because they just thought it was this little old film that, at the time was not going to really do anything.
Yeah. And if you're a big perv like I am, Greta Skarkey gets naked in it, and it is phenomenal.
It's great. And if you're a fan of soft drinks, they go to a soft drink factory in the middle of the bush that is it's like a Willy Wonka factory. It's got a miniature train going through it. It's just absurd and wonderful. And
I forgot Spotswood is another great Australian
Spotswood's
comedy.
Great. That was is that Mark Joffrey?
That is, yes, it is.
Yeah.
He also did Coddy. I'm surprised Muriel's Wedding wasn't on your list because you talk about it all the time. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
It's funny though because I think Australian comedy gets a bad rap because of those movies like your Takeaway and your Nugget and that kind of thing. Not to take away from those films, I still enjoy them, but we do some great comedies as well. Yeah. Priscilla, Muriel, being good examples and the ones we're listing. Anyway, we could go on.
We could go on, but we won't. That's our present to you, the listener.
Someone needs a nap.
Someone needs a nap. So, it's now time for Ben and Glenn to sign off. I wish I had a good Stay Physical-esque thing to deliver at the end.
Maybe we need a little bit of a...
I'd like to go back and take it again, but we're not going to do that.
No, because believe it or not, we just record live to tape.
That's right. There's no editing.
Exactly, except for the cuts in the segment interludes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's all natural. Just push a button.
I mean, if I was hosting, it'd be over 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. Great show. Good times. See you next week.
See you later, everyone.